Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. This is the fight against poverty, and today we'll be discussing um, the title is going to be reforming the welfare system or or abolishing it in its whole. So that's going to be the title: reforming the welfare system or abolishing it. And today I got my chalkboard. It's probably backwards, but I'm gonna read it to you guys. I got my chalkboard, and I also have an iPad with with the with the this is an article about states hoarding up to 5.2 billion in welfare funds. And yeah, we're gonna talk about it. So, talking about the welfare system, and as of late, I know there's been a lot of frauds. And they also have spent a lot of money on the system itself. And while it's good, but it's also bad at the same time. And I feel like a welfare system should only bring good and little bad, if anything. And right now, the welfare system is helping in as much as hurting people as well. So today we're going to discuss it. We're going to discuss the problems with it, the problems I see and that are noticeable. And I got three references today. I got a news article, I got a book, and I got LexingtonLaw.com, important statistics on welfare in 2021. So, what are the problems? What are the problems? Um, it seems shameful to be on welfare. It seems like you could be labeled as a failure in a sense. And I was reading this book called, I said it before in one of my early episodes, The Politics of Guaranteed Income, the Nixon Administration and Family Assistance Plan. And I'm going to take it to page 106. Where they're listing things. He goes to the Detroit Free Press, describes the plight of poor whites in the city. And one of the things he said was, poor whites are on average less poor than poor blacks. More than them are slightly above the official poverty income guideline, and hence are ineligible to help but are still poor. A majority of workers, another point is a majority of workers in the neighborhood centers are black, and their viewed clients tend to be black also. And another point is most neighborhood centers in Detroit are in primarily black areas. So they're talking about how it's viewed for a certain ethnicity, and this is relating to the 1960s, and in today's time it's still viewed for a program to help minorities, even though there may be a statistic saying that most of them are black. That's just not true. There's poverty in every ethnicity. It exists with every ethnicity, if not them all. So another point I seen was this. There is the fact that the nation's welfare programs have become identified as black programs in the minds of many people. It is one reason why many poor whites burdened by prejudice have been reluctant to apply for help. So this stigmatism is still linked with us. And this book is called The Politics of Guaranteed Income, the Nixon Administration Plan. And that was on page 106. And I found that interesting because it still exists with us today. We view welfare pro- welfare programs as programs for minorities. It's basically saying minorities, um, you know, they don't work, and they need food stamps, and they need all this assistance. They need assistance. And to me, what is that saying about the economy? And you can speculate. I mean, I'm just bringing these points to you guys to help view it more. And yeah, I think the what Nixon was trying to do was change the welfare system by implementing a negative income tax, and I believe he was also trying to abolish the welfare system because it was being viewed as such, and it was uh, incentivizing a lot of things, not working, having kids, and the father not being in the house, all these things. So we have to really pay close attention to history and where we're at today and things of that nature. Now, the LexingtonLaw.com important statistics of 2021 welfare: 9.88 trillion spent on welfare. That's a lot of money. That's more than a couple stimulus package. Pretty much all the stimulus packages we had since COVID came around. Yeah, that's more, way more. So that could be a problem, and it could be good as well. That's a lot of money. 9.88 trillion spent on welfare. That's a lot. And the Welfare Reform Act in 1996, I think it was passed by Bill Clinton, gave states the right to make all these restrictions and certain qualifications to get on welfare. So that act led the states to being in control of over the people to either be denied or approved. So that's something to look at. And 1 out of 10 are fraudulent. 1 out of 10 1 out of 10 are fraudulent, the payments, and 99.1 billion fraud payments in 2021, and that's also a lot. So there's got to be something done better. I feel maybe put that in the IRS's hands, even though it's a private agency. They've done pretty well with taxes. They've caught people on fraud. That's something we all could look up together. You can comment if you find it. Maybe put it in the IRS's hands to be in control of this, a welfare program, not programs, program, meaning it's just under one thing. It's not under all these different things, all these certain requirements. But yeah, we're gonna talk about it. So 9.88 trillion spent on welfare. That money could have been to anything else. At least half of it. You take half of that, you got five trillion. That could be used for a lot of different things. A lot of different things. Um, I think I did the math on a guaranteed income for a year. I think it came out to 3 trillion. 3 trillion, $1,000 payments to everybody in the United States. It came out to 3 trillion. I just did the math. I looked up how many people there were in the United States. I multiplied that by 1,000. Then I multiplied it by 12, and you get your answer. You get your answer right there. So I believe if you cut that in half, that could be used for things like a universal basic income or a negative income tax or whatever. Um, the Welfare Reform Act, it put the states in charge. It put the states in charge. I had the article up. I had the article up, and right now the iPad just died. But it said that states are hoarding up to 5.2 billion in welfare funds, and given the states that freedom, they're able to deny people, which is why they're hoarding the funds. They're not paying it to every recipient because they're not meeting certain requirements. That could be good or bad. I mean, people may not be meeting the requirements, but still they're more than likely in need if they're applying for benefits, because, like I said, it's a stigmatism that we view it as being less, being minority only programs, the welfare system. Um, yeah, we can look at all these. We can look at all these things in this book. It's not too plain promise black shouldn't get help. There is the fact that nations' welfare programs have become identified as black programs in the minds of many white people. And poor whites, oh wait, like this. More poor whites are southern migrants who characteristically refuse to admit they are poor, reject the concept of charity, and stay clear of what they regard as programs for black people. And that's on page 106. And this book is by Daniel P. Moynihan, Moynihan. And that could be in the minds of many, like is viewed as being poor, like you're applying because you're poor, and that's in all of our minds, whether we like it or not. It's just a simple fact that sometimes in this economy we could be led on that path to being in poverty or being close to poverty, and we may need help. It's okay for help. And the government should reiterate that these programs are there to help you in need. It's a safety net, which is another case. We do need a safety net, but like I was saying, the Welfare Reform Act in 1996, passed by Bill Clinton, put it in the states' hands to make all these requirements, and the states were able to deny or approve people. And that could be obvious. They're hoarding up to $5.2 billion in funds, so that means the rejection rate has to be high. It has to be high. I know. In that article, it lists a certain amount of states, and yeah, we can. I'm gonna post a link, and you all can look at it. But yeah. 1 in 10 are fraudulent. 1 in 10 payments are fraudulent, and 99.1 billion fraud payments are sent out. So 99.1 billion are fraud, and this is a good case to maybe reform or completely abolish the welfare system. I mean, you're paying out 99.1 billion in fraud. So the Welfare Reform Act clearly isn't working. There's still fraud. Something has to be done about that. Something has to be done about that. That act is not working. That act is not working at all. Like I said, maybe put it in the IRS's hands. Maybe let them handle it. But it's not working. It's not working. It hasn't been working. A lot of people still are hungry, jobless, and need a home, all type of things. So that isn't working. I hear stories about how long people had to stand in lines at the unemployment office, long waiting times for housing assistance. I've heard many things. If the father isn't in the house, the wife gets paid more, and the father doesn't get anything. So I've heard many things about the welfare system and how it's not necessarily corrupt. I think it's just they put a lot of restrictions on it and a lot of requirements on it, and it has become just something that helps people, but also doesn't help people at the same time. And I feel like the welfare system shouldn't be that. I'm pretty sure if you look up the definition of welfare, is to help people and provide the essential needs for people, which means a house, transportation, cash assistance if they need it, and food on the table. So those are some of the things what I feel welfare system should do. We all can go look up welfare, see the definition, break it down in depth, and really find out what a welfare system is supposed to do. Because right now, with 99.1 billion in fraud payments, that's a lot of money being thrown to people who probably don't pay taxes, probably don't. I mean, they spending the money somewhere, so it is going back into the economy. But still, 99.1 billion in fraud payments. That's a lot of payments that are fraud, that are uh, misleading them. And like I was saying, back to the 9.88 trillion spent on welfare. That money could be for a lot of other things. A lot of other things. Reforming the education system, putting uh, programs for work in schools, picking up trash, recycling, teaching kids how to recycle, teaching kids how to grow fruit, vegetables, etc. But these are the things. I got these statistics from LexingtonLaw.com, important statistics of welfare in 2021. And also that article I was referring to, I'm going to post that as well. But I believe something should be done about the welfare system. Either abolish it or reform it completely. Like reform it. Reform it in some way. Maybe put it in the IRS's hands to make adjustments to help the states out. Because right now, 99.1 billion in fraud payments is a lot of money. And if you add up all that money through the years, it's going to add up to a lot of fraud. A lot of fraud. People get jail time because of that. You're putting people at risk of going to jail. Whatever they're doing is not right, because people can get locked up for fraud. For fraud, yes. Some people don't get caught, some people do get caught. I know this because of the situation we're in with COVID. A lot of people got the loans, the PPP loans. And a lot of people I heard got sentenced to a couple years. So there has to be something done about these things, the loans and the welfare programs and all. Something has to be done. But I'm gonna end the video right here. Uh, like I'll say, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And have a blessed day. Thank you.
Daddy. Daddy.
Hold on.
I want to say hi.